Hello, this is Brave Sir Robin coming to you from Parts Unknown. I'm very excited to be doing this episode today because just recently I have passed my 1-year anniversary of uploading these videos to YouTube of the From Parts Unknown show. It's been a great year since doing these. I'm up to 30-something episodes now because there have been a few gaps in between. But I've really had a lot of fun doing these, and I do appreciate all the fans who've been with me from the start, as well as any new fans that have come aboard. I've gotten a lot of support from doing this show, and I hope to continue to keep on doing these, and I hope you all look forward to that. So what I'm going to do for this special episode, I'm going to save doing a DVD review till next time. I'm going to actually do a year in retrospective, where it's just right after New Year's anyway, about a week or so, but it's not too bad. I'm going to list off a lot of what I consider the best and worst of the past year since I started doing my show, which pretty much coincides with all of 2011 anyway. So let's take a look. I got my handwritten notes here in front of me. I just doodled them up one day just so I'd have everything down here. No computer in front of me like there usually is. So let's take a look and see what I thought. And as always, this is all up to interpretation. These are just my own personal opinion. If anybody disagrees or agrees with me, the comment section is there. And you can also follow my Twitter and also comment on Facebook if there's anything else you want to say in addition to this video. So the first topic I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do this all in one take today. No editing needed, I think. First topic I'm going to talk about this time, I'm going to talk about the best team or stable of 2011. Some are going to consider this a controversial choice. It's not a really famous team. They're not in the WWE or TNA. I'm actually going with Team Fist as my favorite team or stable of the year. The team of Chuck Taylor, Johnny Gargano, and Icarus in Chikara. And also Johnny Gargano and Chuck Taylor, more specifically, have been teaming up other places besides Chikara. They've been in Evolve together. I think Dragon Gate USA as well. And I think they've had the best year. They've captured the Chikara Campione de Parejas, if I pronounced that right. And I thought that was a momentous occasion. In their tag titles mean as much as the world title, so that's just as big a deal. And they've even individually, the two have been doing pretty great stuff, like wherever they appear, be it Dragon Gate or Evolve or any other fed that they're in. So that's my pick for the team of the year. There's really, as always, the tag team situation now is so stale. It's hard to pick anybody to say this guy was the best, especially in WWE. I could have picked Air Boom, I guess, but I went with Fist anyway. I just thought Fist had a better year. They were more fun to watch. Air Boom I do like, but they've had some roadblocks. I mean, they're the tag team champions of what? That's why, the Usos and the Colognes, that's the only two teams they really fight. Like, what else are they? I don't really want to call anybody with such a pitiful division a tag team of the year. And in TNA, well, there really hasn't been a standout. I don't want to say Mexican America. They didn't do much. Beer Money's broke up now, so I don't want to say them. They're doing good on their own now anyway. And I know I'm forgetting somebody. It's not going to be Inc. I'm not going to say them. Crimson and Matt Morgan are the current TNA champs. Another Vince Russo staple, the tag champs that hate each other. Way original there. So I'm not going to say them either. So that's why I'm going with Team Fist. If you disagree with me, that's up to you, but that's who I'm going with. So worst team or stable though, I had to really think about this one, and I'm going with the Core. I know they were tag champs a couple times over the past year, beating the prestigious team of Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov. Kozlov's not even around anymore, so what does that tell you? Just a pitiful team. I mean, even as the group that they were, with like Wade Barrett and Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, and Justin Gabriel, even when they had the numbers advantage, they were still getting their asses kicked all the time. They pretty much accomplished nothing. The only notable feud that they really had, remember when Santino started up his own little stable called Apple with R-Truth and Daniel Bryan in it. Thank God that didn't last. So that's my pick for the worst team of the year too, is the Core. Hopefully, I think my reasons for that are well justified. Excuse me. So, now I briefly mentioned this just now anyway. I'm going to say who to watch in each fed right now. Who to watch in the mainstreams, which is WWE and TNA, and who to watch in the indies, which is everything else. My who to watch in the indies right now is actually going to be Johnny Gargano. He recently captured, this is the guy who I think has a bright future, he recently captured the Dragon Gate USA title, and he's been putting on awesome matches wherever he's been now. I remember the first time I seen him about a year before, he was just this goofy guy with a scrunchie in his hair, wearing Rugrats t-shirts, and he looked like a complete goof. Now he's putting on the best matches on every show he's on. There's a show, an iPay-per-view I checked out called PWO Resolution. It's actually a future review I'm going to do, but so I won't talk too much. He actually had a really amazing match with Josh Prohibition and Matt Cross. That was really amazing. He didn't win that match, but it was still pretty good, and everything else he's been in, he's been excellent. So I think Johnny Gargano's the guy to watch on the indies. So for mainstream, it's going to be an obvious choice. They're pushing the guy now, so it just looks like I'm picking an easy one. I'm going to say Dolph Ziggler. He's been having a great year. I mean, and now the future looks really bright for him. He's got a title shot coming up. I don't think he's going to win at the Royal Rumble, but I think there's a good chance that somewhere in 2012 the guy will be a world champion. Excuse me. Like, he's just having a really amazing year now. I'd probably break him away from Vicky Guerrero now at this point, but he's doing really good. It's really amazing to see after the whole thing with the Spear Squad. Everybody thought that was a career killer for all those guys, and for the most part it has, but he actually persevered, stuck through it, and he's, more than not, he's the best guy to watch on every WWE show that he is on, for match quality and everything else that he's doing. I just think Dolph Ziggler, the guy's got a very bright future on the way, and 2012 is going to be his year. So, for best female personality, I'm picking female personality to not only include wrestlers, like anybody who's dominant on TV or independents. I really went back and forth on this. I went with Madison Eagles as the best female personality of the year for her domination of the Shimmer title scene. She even reached #1 in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Female 50. She went on to lose the Shimmer title recently to cheerleader Melissa, who I almost picked. And now she's actually facing retirement, too, due to injury, which is a real shame. She's an amazing wrestler. She had a really good year. She did some great matches in Australia and PWWA. I haven't seen them, but I've heard amazing things. She had some appearances in Shikara, where she even wrestled Manami Toyota, and had some really good matches. So that for that reason, I'm picking Madison Eagles as the top female personality of the past year. Worst female personality. Anybody who knows me was going to know who I picked for this, is Karen Jarrett. And I don't think anybody should disagree with this. Every segment she's in, she just sucks the life out of. She can't act or do nothing, yet she seems to be the focal point of everything they try to do. I guess from pure nepotism, or however you pronounce that. Like, just because of who she's married to, they're shoving her down our throats. When they have an awesome roster in TNA of females, the focal point should not be Karen Jarrett. Remember when me and my friends, we got together and watched Bound for Glory, and they had that women's match where the bunch of women all fought, the one where Velvet Sky won the titles. We weren't expecting a great match as it was, but then they made the decision of saying, here's our special referee, Karen Jarrett, and she just made the segment so much worse. She's completely devoid of personality, to the point that whatever's around her, she makes look bad as well. And it's really pitiful that basically, you can see where the thinking has come from with what they're trying to do with her. It's like somebody saw what Vicky Guerrero was doing in WWE and thought, let's try to copy that, and she's not pulling it off at all. To say what you want about Vicky, she got her heel act down. She's excellent at it. Karen Jarrett just is not. She's horrible. So that's my pick for her, the worst female of the year. Best match of the year. This is a topic that I had a hard time deciding whether I was going to include or not. The fact of the matter is, due to financial reasons and whatever else, I don't see every show. So I might be missing some things, but for the most part, when I do hear something is really good, I'll check it out, either through YouTube or torrents or whatever else. So I do feel that I can justifiably pick best and worst matches of the year, because more than not, I do get to check out something when it really stands out. So, best match of the year that I picked is CM Punk versus John Cena from Money in the Bank. A few of you are surprised to hear me say that, but that match was just very good. You had CM Punk's a good wrestler. Cena, as I mentioned before, can wrestle when he's got the right opponent, and on this night, CM Punk was the right opponent. And another thing this match had, it had emotion. We were watching that match on the edges of our seats. Every time there was a near fall, we were like gasping and holding our breath, seeing what's going to happen. Something wrestling is very lacking nowadays. So for a simple fact that it actually was able to draw emotion from us, I'm picking this as my favorite match of the year, with CM Punk versus John Cena from Money in the Bank. Now, my worst match of the year, a match that's going to appear on a lot of people's worst match of the years, is Jeff Hardy versus Sting from Victory Road. Do I even need to go into this? I mean, this is the match where the main event of a pay-per-view. It's bad enough that a little bit right before they took the title off of Jeff Hardy and killed his momentum and put the title on Sting as pretty much a cheap thrown together stunt just to throw it in WWE's face because of those build-up videos some people thought could be Sting. That's the only reason they did that. So they had the rematch on pay-per-view where Jeff Hardy shows up too stoned out of his mind to even wrestle. Staggers down to the ring. Eric Bischoff comes out and pretty much says, just end the match quick. So we get like an under 2-minute match to main event a pay-per-view. I feel sorry for anybody who paid money to see this. I only watched this on YouTube afterwards when I heard about the whole debacle. But it's pretty obvious this was the worst match of the year for the reasons that I said. Like, it even caused TNA to lose money. And because people were so pissed off, they offered them like a few months of their on-demand service, which I think some people said they didn't really even honor that, so I don't know much about that. But either way, that's what happened. My obvious pick for worst match of the year, because it was main event of the pay-per-view. I mean, if this just shows how much of a bush league the TNA really is. If Jeff Hardy showed up in that shape at a WWE event, he'd be fired. He'd be gone. But no, not TNA. They won't do that. So, just so many reasons why I think this match is the lowest moment, well, worst match of the year. Just so many things to point at to say why this was bad. I mean, they just let their guys do whatever. It's sad. So, best announcer of the year. I know 99% of you are going to say Jim Ross. Jim Ross, to me, he wasn't active enough this year for me to want to put him. I'm going to pick somebody different. I'm going with Excalibur as the best announcer of 2011. The announcer for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and for NWA Hollywood for quite a while too. And I think Excalibur really stood out this year. He's got a lot of humor in his stuff, and as you can tell the way I look for my gimmick I got going on right now, I'm pretty much doing what Excalibur does anyway. But I think Excalibur is the best commentator of this past year, because I just think he does a really good job. He throws some humor in, but his wrestling knowledge is top-notch. The guy knows his stuff. And I think he's even got a great voice for it. It's cool. It's a guy sitting behind the table with his mask on. That's what I'm doing, so it's cool. I like Excalibur, so that's my pick for the best announcer of the year. Worst announcer, again, who's going to disagree with this? Michael Cole. Do I really need to even elaborate why Michael Cole is the worst? He's been burying everything. No good angles have gotten over because of Michael Cole. He's killing wrestlers' momentum just by bashing them. It's horrible. He shouldn't even be on TV anymore now. He's not helping in any way. It's just Vince McMahon probably just lost his mind and let Michael Cole talk through him. Like, you can tell Vince's hand is up Michael Cole's ass, using him like a puppet anyway. But Michael Cole is easily the worst announcer of the year. Nothing that he's done has been good. The guy just needs to not be on TV, or at least go back to normal or something. He's killing angles. He's killing wrestlers. He's burying them. He's making wrestlers look bad because he's saying something bad about them, and then people are thinking that it's true. It's really horrible. He's actually doing damage to the product. That's why Michael Cole is hands down worst announcer of the past year, of 2011. So, 2011, I'm rounding it down now. The best rise of 2011. Somebody who started out low and went and got a lot higher than he was last year. Easy answer for me, Zack Ryder. The guy was doing nothing last year. He was barely on Superstars, and he actually, through his own actions, nobody else's, he starts putting videos on YouTube, gets over with the crowd to the point that they started pushing him. And the only reason they're pushing him is because they have to. They're not pushing him because they want to. This wouldn't have been happening if not for what he did himself. You gotta admire that. I mean, I know some people who don't like him for various reasons. They just think he's a comedy guy, but you got to give the guy props for having the balls to go and do that. Even other wrestlers now are starting to copy him by making their own videos like he was doing. But he went on to YouTube, showed his videos, showed his sense of humor, showed his charisma, and he got over with the crowd. To the point where the fans of Madison Square Garden were chanting his name while The Rock was in the ring. I think that's got to mean something. So easily, best rise of the past year was Zack Ryder's. So the worst fall of the past years, basically the exact opposite, Matt Hardy. The guy came into TNA last year might have been late 2010. I might be wrong on my dates. But there was a lot of momentum there. He came in boasting, this is going to be a reinvention for Matt Hardy. This is going to be great. I'm going to do, the shackles are off and I'm going to do everything. So then through apparently bad attitude backstage and just lackluster performances and then everything else and other personal issues, the guy actually got himself fired from TNA. Like, Kurt Angle can run over, get DUI after DUI and not be fired. Jeff Hardy cannot be fired, even after the mess that was Victory Road. They fire Matt Hardy, and you know, to get fired from TNA, you really have to fuck up. It's just the way it is. Like, I like Matt Hardy. I thought he was a great wrestler. I loved Mattitude. I loved when he came back with the Will Not Die when they were burying him for a bit. I wanted to see him get ahead. He had excellent angles with MVP during that feud for the US title I really liked. And the Hardy Boys were a great team. I would have liked to see the guy succeed and do great for himself. The guy can wrestle. I mean, I've seen him wrestle good matches, so I would have liked to see more, but worst downfall now. He gets fired from TNA, he gets busted with drugs, he goes to court-appointed rehab, gets busted there, gets kicked out, goes back to jail, posting nude videos of himself in Reby Sky. I don't know what's with the guy. The guy could be a world title contender in TNA, but now look at him. It's kind of sad, really. I really wish the guy could have done more, but that's it. Worst fall of the year is easily Matt Hardy for me. So now for my last topic, Wrestler of the Year. Who I thought the best wrestler of the past year was. For this, I'm going with CM Punk. I know he just started an awesome angle this summer, the whole sit-down interview where it looked like some awesome stuff was going to happen. They did fuck up quite a bit, but for the most part, it was CM Punk that had me watching with the most interest over the past year and putting on some of the best matches over the past year. So for that reason, I'm saying the best wrestler of 2011 was CM Punk. So there was my year in review video. That's all the topics I picked. If there's any other suggestions people wanted to add, feel free to let me know in comment. It's been a great year doing this. I've really enjoyed it. I hope all you watching will enjoy this video. Feel free to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you don't want to in this video, feel free to go back to my old ones and leave a thumbs up and do a comment. You can also follow me on Twitter at BraveSirRobinBP is my Twitter name. I got a Facebook group now that's a fan page to this show. Got a few people in there. I'd appreciate lots of people joining that. And feel free to subscribe to this so you can see all my latest videos as soon as they're up anyway. So this is Brave Sir Robin. It's been a great 2011 and hopefully 2012 will be just as good. I should be back with another DVD review next time or hopefully something cool. So until then, signing off. See you later.